Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with another underrated album review for you. Another album which I feel is criminally underrated, all too often overlooked, and actually deserves a whole lot more love and appreciation. So, today's underrated album comes from one of my absolute favourite bands. A band that over the last couple of years I have really gotten into in such a massive way. And one of the albums that I just keep gravitating towards and coming back to time and time again is the second album from 1994, Rotting Christ from Athens, Greece, with the mighty Serviam. This album is an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion. It's a combination of black metal with sort of gothic and doom elements in there. It's very melodic, but it is absolutely fantastic. As I say, this is the second album. This is from 1994, to check my years there. Presented in this lovely vinyl format, which I have recently acquired. But it was, at the time, I remember reading from interviews with Sarkis Tollis, frontman, singer and guitarist of the band of Rotting Christ, that the album, the second album, was not received in nearly the same way and with the same sort of love that the debut album, Thy Mighty Contract, received in 1993. So the debut, Thy Mighty Contract, is of course an absolute classic. It's a legendary album. It's a fantastic album. But I feel personally that Serviam is kind of living in the shadow of this brilliant debut album. This is a very defining debut album. And it's an amazing one. No discredit to Thy Mighty Contract. I think it is worthy of the praise, of the love and appreciation that it gets. But because of the brilliance of that album, Serviam, which is, in my opinion, distinctively better and considerably more mature and progressed than the debut, it's overlooked. This is so unjustly underrated. So, the album, I've had this for a while. Just reach for my props here. You may have seen the review that I did a little while ago of Under Our Black Colt, this rather stunning Peaceville Records compilation piece, a large hardback book with 5 discs covering the early years of Rotting Christ when they were signed to Peaceville Records. So we have tons of demos. There was a lot of demo releases and very legendary releases prior to the debut album in 1993. But disc 4, Serviam. So that was my first time encountering this particular stunning album. But what is confusing, and I'm not sure the reasoning for this, but the track list here in this version is different to the other versions. So it's different to the vinyl track listing. It's also different to the track listing in this double album package of Passage to Arcturo EP and Serviam. It's different. The CD and the vinyl match, but for some reason in this incarnation, the track list is different, and that has thrown me. Certainly when it's a start to finish brilliant album, but then putting the vinyl on and being a little bit confused because you get so used to the flow of an album. It totally threw me and baffled me. But that said, it is still a fantastic album, whichever way round you try and medley the tracks. So I'll show off this particularly stunning vinyl format. This is something I picked up recently. It's a 2023 reissue, I think. As it says here on the little sticker, it's clear and white marbled vinyl and limited to 450 copies worldwide. Lovely. And I'll just show off the rather delightful piece in here. So we get a cool insert, which I'm yet to read actually. but this is the history of Non-Serviam, and it documents the time, what was going on with the band, and their legendary tour alongside Blasphemy and Immortal. So cool little interview piece there, just show off this rather nice disc. So the album, as I alluded to, it is a good combination, a seamless combination of black metal, which I've always kind of struggled to accept that Rotting Christ are a outright black metal band. They're not. There's a lot of different flavours and mixtures thrown into the mix. There's a heavy reliance on sort of Gothic music, Gothic elements in there. It's very melodic as well. And there are very doomy passages as well. But it's stunning. I think that's the thing about Rotting Christ's music, is it is so brilliantly well written and performed. It's like no other band. Even other amazing Greek bands like Varathron or Thou Art Lord, for example. These bands, although they are brilliant, and Necromantia as well, another one overlooking there, another recent discovery of mine. Although these bands are brilliant and they come from the same place, they do not sound anywhere near the level of brilliance and quality as Rotting Christ and the albums of Rotting Christ. And I'll show off this other little form that I have recently picked up as well. Why did I pick up this if I've already got it in other formats? Because I love it. So this particular version has alternative art on the front there, but then inside we have Non-Serviam art, and as mentioned, it's alongside the rather wonderful and legendary Passage to Arcturo. And actually, while mentioning this form, it does also include bonus video tracks on the Non-Serviam disc for some of the key sort of tracks from the early catalogue of Rotting Christ. So, Non-Serviam, what makes it so freaking special? Because it is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. There's a really amazing combination of those very melodic Gothic elements with black metal spite and aggression there. Sarkis Tollis, he has a very distinctive vocal kind of delivery and approach, and he sounds great on this album. But it's the keys and the sort of background ambience formed by none other than Magus Vampire Doloth, not sure, on keys. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful stuff. The whole thing sounds absolutely beautiful. So, track-wise, and I am just going to go with the vinyl form because it's easier to show off as a prop. We kick off with the Fifth Illusion, which is absolutely brilliant. It's a continuation in the kind of faster-paced, more black metal-rooted sound that we had very much characterising Thy Mighty Contract. So, a good continuation there. Then we're into Wulfira the Jackal, which is amazing. It's absolutely one of the standout tracks from Non-Serviam. It is absolutely brilliant, brilliant song. There is a lot of inclusion of sort of doomy elements in that track, or more traditional heavy metal there. But then we get the big keys, the really hypnotic guitar work there, which is absolutely brilliant. But then we've got, from Themis on drums there, we've got those driving, blasting drums. Absolutely fantastic. The title track, Non-Serviam, an absolute anthem. That is one for the masses. An absolutely glorious track. It's really rousing. It's got a sort of chant-along chorus. It's very dark, but it's got a very epic sound to it. And having seen Rotting Christ live myself, when they played Non-Serviam, there wasn't a single head that wasn't banging, voice that wasn't shrieking, and fist that wasn't raised in the air. Absolutely brilliant stuff. A real highlight and a fan favourite. Mortality of a Dark Age, again, very dark. A lot of Gothic elements in there as well, but there's also those doomy elements kind of underpinning the whole black metal approach. Where Mortals Have No Pride, fantastic. Another real highlight, an absolutely glorious track there. Then we got a sort of a short interlude piece before a succession of fantastic songs that, again, as I say, there's a strong prominence of the black metal sound there, of the early second wave black metal sound and the Greek black metal sound and approach at that, because these Greek black metal bands that were coming out of Athens, no, they all sound different, but there is a very distinct difference in what they were doing to what was actually crawling out of Scandinavia, for example, or even the USA. A fantastic succession here. We've got Mephisis of Black Crystal into Ice-Shaped God, and another anthemic, brilliant, chant-along closing track, Saturn Unlocked Ave's Sun. Masterpiece, start to finish. This is such a brilliant album, and it's notably overlooked, in my opinion. Other than the non-Serviam title track, this album just doesn't seem to get the attention, and it's not talked about enough, nowhere near as much as what it deserves, because it, as I say, it's absolutely masterful. So non-Serviam, a true masterpiece. Tracks, if you've never heard this album, tracks that you absolutely need to check out. You need to check out The Fifth Illusion. Certainly if you're more inclined and leaning towards the black metal sound. Wolfira the Jackal, if you're open to a little bit of a doom or traditional heavy metal inclusion into Gothic black metal. Non-Serviam, absolutely. I would say just those three tracks there, that succession is absolutely masterful. It is epic, it is black, but it is gothic and dark as well. The whole band is on fine form here. You've got Themis on the drums, who is absolutely smashing the kit there. Absolutely fantastic. That guy is a monster behind the drums. And you've got Jim Mutilator on bass. Prominent bass tone, and it really does stand out. And of course you've got Sarkis Tolles, amazing guitarist. I would say that Sarkis Tolles is easily one of the most underrated guitarists in metal. That guy can absolutely shred with the best of them. He can come up with some blinding solos, but then some amazing rhythms and leads. It's absolutely glorious stuff. And Non-Serviam is just littered, absolutely peppered with just stunning guitar work. And his vocals are great. He's got a really iconic black metal vocal approach. So, would I say that Non-Serviam is better than Thy Mighty Contract? I would say that it is distinctively different, but because of the brilliance of that debut, Non-Serviam is cruelly overlooked. But if you are a fan of your black metal, if you like more gothic metal as well, then you are definitely going to dig Rotting Christ, and you're definitely going to love Non-Serviam. And of course, if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about Rotting Christ, then I have done loads of reviews about Rotting Christ, including a Bands You Need to Hear review, and more recently an album ranking, in which you will not be surprised to hear that Non-Serviam, spoiler alert, did score a little bit higher than Thy Mighty Contract. So, underrated album, yes or no? What are your thoughts and opinions on this rather difficult subject, my friends? Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others as always. If you've never heard Non-Serviam, if you've never heard Rotting Christ, check them out, check this album out. It's absolutely brilliant. And pick it up in any of these forms that are available. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the likes, shares, subscribes. Really do appreciate it all. Thank you very much for your continued support. Check out the album. Let me know what you think. Take care of yourselves, my friends. Until next time, stay heavy.